So Maggie, apparently your diving is still pretty popular on TikTok, huh?
I know. That was fun.
I noticed it taking off. That was very funny to watch. Are you okay? Some of those dives look like you splatted pretty hard.
No, only 2 of them really hurt. See, when I did it last time, every single time so the dive we're talking about right now, I've been trying to do a 1.5, which is essentially a front flip into a dive.
Yes.
And so the video I had done probably about a year ago, my face would break the water every time.
It was really, it was hurting me to watch you, but it was also at the same time very funny. And I remember showing it to someone going, you know what sold that video? Both that one and this one is your commitment. You're like, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to try it. And you even told me after that last year, you said there were so many more attempts that didn't even make the video.
Yeah.
Did that happen this time too?
No. I think pretty much every single attempt was in this video. Yeah, last time was brutal just because it would either my face would break the water or my stomach would hit the water and it would.
I'm sorry to laugh. I don't mean to laugh.
No, you're okay. I showed that video to people when they ask me what I do on TikTok because I don't really have a good answer for that. I just like to make silly stuff. And that video is pretty much guaranteed to make someone laugh, and that's exactly what I want to do, even if it is me face planting a bunch of times. And I'm proud of that video, and I'm proud of me keeping trying it, and I'm proud that a year later I said, you know what, let's try again. And this time it didn't hurt that much. Only 2 of them. One of them I broke with my face, and one hit my stomach, but every other one, my hands were still the first thing in the water, so it didn't hurt me at all. And that's why, you see how excited I got after the first one, because I had never done that and not experienced immense pain afterwards. And so I was like, this is great, even if it wasn't perfect. But oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I was able to do it semi-decently, because now, of course, I know it's so easy to analyze myself and know exactly what I need to do better. I need to tuck more. I need to I cut out a part of the video saying this, which is why it's so funny that people are commenting it, saying you need to set up instead of setting down. And I literally said that word for word, but I cut it out of the video because it was too long, where I said, I'm immediately going down. I need to set up and flip up, then down. It's just hard to apply those things when you just go, all right, I have to jump.
Instead, you did a crunch zoom, I think was one of the terms.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of crunch zoom, we should probably just crunch zoom Wim Bath, just bump go into the podcast somehow.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Deep breath.
Roll the intro music. Or deep breath it.
Okay.
And now roll the intro music? Okay, cool.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
Is y'all's house decorated for Halloween?
Not yet, but it's getting there. We have a plan.
We have a skeleton.
Okay.
And the porch night, we are definitely going to put the porch night back out. I hung a skeleton from his lance. And so he's standing there with a lance with a skeleton on top.
I was thinking we could throw a sheet over him and just make him a ghost, right? And then it was like, it's not the night. What are you talking about? That's a ghost.
I don't even see a night. No.
Man.
But we've been busy. We had our book day today.
I heard, but this will be your first Halloween in the new neighborhood.
I know.
Which is, wow. You guys, our house is a legend in our old neighborhood because every Halloween, my dad would be out front on a unicycle juggling fire and doing tricks and everything. And it was such cool entertainment that people from outside of the neighborhood came to see it. It was a very, very cool thing that you did for decades. Mm-hmm. And so this is the first year that Are you? I'm wondering. Are you going to do this at the new place? Are you going to?
Well, we talked about it.
Go back.
Well, no. I mean, you go back to the old house just for an evening. Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I could do one more. No, I was thinking about it. I think it might be a fun way to meet the neighbors and meet the neighborhood. And we checked with the people who we bought the house from, and they said they do get a good number of trick-or-treaters in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I had asked if we're allowed to decorate because nobody's decorated yet. I saw some pumpkins and that's it. And I'm like, I do not want to get another letter saying you can't decorate for Halloween. But the bylaws just said tasteful holiday decorations are permitted. So it's like, what? How subjective can you get? So,
well, I don't think they want like the big inflatable spiders in the middle of your yard. And
but I was going to make a big spider out of like PVC pipe. I have a feeling that won't.
Or maybe maybe like that was because somebody did something super gory, like with blood and guts and stuff, and like were real extra scary for the little kids.
Yeah, I'm trying to definitely lean towards fun skeletons,
fun, laughable,
not grody skeletons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm going to do it, Maggie, because here's the thing. It's like whenever I get to that moment in my life where I'm like, do I still want to do this? Like whether it's doing a backflip on stage or doing a handstand or entertaining the trick-or-treaters, which means me getting on the unicycle when it's dark out and juggling fire. And the thing about juggling fire on a unicycle, when it's dark out, is you can't see the handles.
Oh, yeah.
You can't see the handles as well. You're blinded by the head, so you have to kind of like know where the handles are. You see them from the light of the torches, but you're still definitely, the top end is much brighter than the bottom end. So it's a trickier thing. You always want to have a little bit of ambient light. Nonetheless, it's a skill, right? And I'm like, well, should I still do this? I'm getting a little older. It's another year. We're in our new house. But anytime I have that thought, I answer it by saying, well, yes, because if I don't say yes, I'll probably never do it again. It's the beginning of the decline. If I decide one day that I'm not going to do my tumbling run or handstand, not because I'm injured, but because I just don't feel like it today, I think that's going to be the beginning of me stopping to do it altogether. So whenever I have that thought, I just have to say yes.
See, here's the thing though, because I've always told you this as a speaker, as a person is, I don't even know if you remember this, but like, you are enough solely with your words. Everything else is really cool, the unicycles and the juggling, but at the end of the day, you are enough with your message, with your words, with like what you provide as a speaker. And so I don't think you necessarily have to think of not doing things as a decline. Because it's a cool aspect. But yeah, you're still you, and it's, sometimes you have to exercise restraint and just like judgment over certain things. I'd much rather when you're 75, you decide, you know what, I'm not going to do a backflip right now, than do a backflip and it end poorly and like you suffer consequences from it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. There's a line there between trusting your intuition, which you definitely must learn to do to prevent things that are, when you're not feeling at the top of your game. Like Bello Knock and the Knock family, they always had a rule within their family, like, 7th generation, now 8th generation circus family. If any one of them any day feels like they're just not in it, and they don't want to do the act because they're, 90 feet in the air on a sway pole or riding a motorcycle across a high wire. It's like you don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to ask for, you don't have to explain it at all. You just say, not today. I'm not in today. I don't feel it.
That's very smart.
And that is true. And I appreciate what you said about my speaking and the words being enough. And I believe that too. It's also just part of what makes me, in a sense, is that I go beyond what others expect or what others would do. Mm-hmm. And so that's the line for me. And people ask me, like, what are you going to do when you're 70? And the way I feel about it is I'm going to be the coolest 70-year-old, Like I'll be doing stuff at 70 that other 70-year-olds aren't doing.
But it's funny because they used to say, well, what are you going to do at 40? Surely you're not going to still be doing backflips. Exactly. And then they say, well, what are you going to do when you're 50 and you can't do that anymore? And now you're 54.
Yeah, exactly.
And still doing, all of that.
Yeah.
So, and to his point, as long as you continue doing it, you're keeping those skills primed. And so many times we would meet people who are literally still in their 20s and say, oh, yeah, I used to do that when I was in high school. I can't do a backflip anymore. And I'm thinking, You're like 25. What do you mean? Why can't you do it anymore? Because they stopped doing it. Then they were like, oh, well, I'm not cheering anymore. I'm not doing gymnastics. I'm not in a class. I'm not in a competition. So they just stopped doing it. But because your dad kept doing it, he's been able to continue doing it.
You know another thing you can't stop doing?
What?
Eating. Eating is something you have to do like every day, unless you're
All
fasting,
day, like me.
in which case you could take a fast, but not forever. And because eating is just essential, and what you eat and the way you eat and how you get your food is absolutely critical to who you become and the kind of health that you carry with you in your life. That's why we are so happy to tell you that this podcast today is sponsored by our friends at HelloFresh. HelloFresh makes it easy for you to get great food delivered in a way that it's actually cheaper than shopping in the grocery store or eating out. And you can prepare your own food and learn about cooking and have fun doing it and make it like a hobby that fuels your body and fuels your life. And so with HelloFresh, ingredients travel from the farm to your doorstep, get this, in less than 7 days. And so like everything you get is fresh, plus the pre-portioned ingredients make cooking a snap and really cut down on the food waste. Yeah, to me, Maggie, that was the most fun, is like you didn't have to measure anything. Like cooking is easy because it's just like take this, dump it, cook it, dump it, and prep, and there you go. And
I had
so
a
good.
friend. Yeah, I had a friend talking to me the other day about, they literally specifically brought up, they said, remember this time last year when we all came over to your place and you cooked us HelloFresh? And it's true. That's literally exactly what I did. They said, I'm hungry. And I showed them some pictures of some different food options I had. And I made them HelloFresh. And obviously it was good because they're still talking about it today.
And when the food's gone, you still have the recipe, right? Because they give you these beautiful cards with the recipes on them. So if you wanted to, you can go to the grocery store and make it again. Or you can just wait for your next order, because they can, you got tons of options to choose from, with fall specials as well, with pumpkin spice options and all kinds of different proteins. Our family has loved using HelloFresh. So if you'd like to try it for yourself, please go to HelloFresh.com/65chaos, 65 CHAOS, and use that code 65chaos for 65% off plus free shipping.
Woo, that's awesome.
That's HelloFresh.com/65chaos, using codes 65chaos for 65% off plus free shipping.
America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh.
You want to know something crazy since we were talking about speaking?
Yeah. You got a gig? Speaking engagement?
Yeah. No. I was at coffee with a friend the other day, and we were talking about missing home. Both of our families are in Georgia. And so I said, yeah, but thankfully my dad's coming out here in about, 2 weeks or however long it was when I had this conversation. And she said, no way, my dad's coming out. And I said, what day? And she said, the day after you come in, Dad.
Wow.
And I said, wow, why is your dad coming in? And she said, oh, he's working on a conference in Orange County, like Anaheim area.
What?
And I said, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, he's been organizing this event for like this corporation. And I said, that's crazy, because my dad is speaking at a conference that exact day in that exact area. What are the possibilities that it is the same event? Turns out it is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Is great.
That is so cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to tell me who this person is, and
yes, we can all hang out.
I'll make a point to meet. Yeah, we can all hang out, because you're taking me to the gig, right?
I am. Yeah, I will be in Anaheim or wherever it is.
Well,
Man.
that's so amazing. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Hey,
Awesome.
Speaking of coffee, I want to tell you guys this. Did you know, how sometimes I heard this on a podcast today, when you get a cup of coffee at the coffee shop and you take a drink and it drips. I've seen this happen to you, honey. I don't know if it's happened to you, Maggie. But did you know there's actually a trick to it, that if you put the drinky part where the seam is on the cup, it will drip. But if you put the seam to the back and the drinky part on the opposite side, it won't drip.
That's amazing.
I think we could still find ways to make it drip.
I
gonna
agree.
be honest with
But I
you.
was just like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. People know this. Now more people know it.
As Dad and I both have cups of coffee in our hands.
Exactly. I knew I had to tell you. And when you just said you went and had coffee, I was like, oh, I have to tell them before I forget.
Well, I do spill a lot of coffee, but when you consider how much coffee I drink and don't spill, I think my ratio is still pretty good.
I don't think so.
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
You
no.
don't spill any coffee, I don't think.
I think he's
Part of it
pretty
is I
much
make my cup of coffee
99%.
all the way to the top. I get that from my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So book day. Let me tell you about book day. So
Book day. Happens
book day is
every
a
3
big
years.
deal, or every couple of years.
Every couple
We
of years,
order
yeah.
several thousand books that we stock in our office to ship to conferences and events, like the one in Anaheim. You know, where my clients will pre-purchase books, and I will sign them sometimes and send them, and they give them away to their people. And yeah, that's been part of our lives since you guys were kids.
Yeah.
I remember Eddie carrying boxes of my first book and
Maggie selling them. Maggie loved to
selling 'em.
sell books. Eddie would just hand them to
Eddie
Maggie.
sold
and
them too sometimes.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. But when you were there, he let you just step up and do it. I think he got a real kick out of seeing his little sister as a salesman.
It was the combo of you guys that was the best.
and you
that
weren't
was
even
my
supposed
favorite.
to be selling books. You were
Help
just
pay
supposed
for
to be
our
there,
college,
but-
please.
Exactly.
Help pay for our college.
Almost for the pool. Almost for the pool. No, but the books that came in today, we ordered 6,000 more copies of Off Balance on Purpose, which means that book itself has sold. We got to go back and look, but I think 40 to 50,000 copies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which isn't bad, you know. And these guys are going out to my events. So, nonetheless, it's always been tricky because a semi truck generally brings the books, and we live on a residential street, and so you can't park the semi you can't drive it into our driveway, and so normally we've had to like carry these crates or pallets of books on a pallet dolly all the way across streets and up driveways, and it's an ordeal. But this year, Stephanie organized it, and it was like a dream because she got them to offload
We were all sleeping.
those books into a smaller truck that could make it up our driveway. And this gentleman, his name was Isaiah, he took down the boxes, put them in our garage, and then we broke down the pallets and put them in the book room. And the whole thing was done in like an hour. And I have
Wow.
a TikTok on this that I've posted twice, but now I've got but it glitched. I was trying to do the captions. You know how you do the captions like the old-fashioned way with the individual text boxes? And so I did that once, and then I posted it. And one of the captions glitched, and it stayed on the whole time.
Stayed there. I hate it when that happens. Yeah. You have to
And
proof
so-
it.
Well, right. And so I did it again, and I redid all the captions, and I was racing to do this before the podcast. I posted it again, and it happened again. So
You have to proof it when you click next right before you post. Watch it there. Don't watch it when you can still edit things. And when you watch it there, it'll show you if it glitches or not.
what if it glitches
And then-
there?
Then
if
you
it
get a cup of
glitches-
coffee and check the seam.
Go back and
No.
delete it? Go back and delete the
if
one
it
that
glitches,
glitches?
go back, delete it, and try and set it for a different time amount, even if it's by like 0.1. They tend to glitch more if you have it at less than a second. If you can keep it at
Oh.
a second or more, it's less likely to glitch. But yeah, just delete it, redo it. And
Man.
was it a short one, maybe?
It was 6/10 of
Yeah.
a second.
There
Yep.
you go. There's your TikTok tip for today.
TikTok tips.
TikTok
Maggie's
tip for
TikTok
today.
tips.
That's hard to say.
It's weird. It's weird how much I know, like...
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you about the
spend so much of my time
pool.
on it.
How cold was the water?
Oh, it was great. It was a little chilly. It's probably like, I think Bud and Carol said it was 70 something.
That was so great, you being back over there with them.
Yeah, that was very nice.
I asked because our water here is getting really cold too, and I keep thinking about what Thanksgiving push in the pool videos are going to feel like.
Yeah.
It's already quite chilly because
Thanksgiving.
yeah, we've had some very cool nights. So brace yourself, girl. It won't be the worst. It won't be the first time we got in cold water.
No, that's crazy because the last like cold push in the pool videos, I remember so vividly because a lot of the times it's kind of a blur, we're up to 50 something parts, we're in it. But the one we did in December, right before we filmed it, is when I found out I booked a movie. And so we were just beaming. And it was funny too because we were like so kind of, don't want to go in the pool. It's quite literally so cold. Like it was freezing outside. The water was freezing. We were in coats outside. That's how cold it was.
Absolutely.
But after we found out that news, we were all just so excited. So we're like, yes, let's just jump in this pool. And that was just, it's so sweet.
And get Maggie
to, look
sick
back
before she goes to film a movie.
Yeah, I remember
tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we were a little nervous about that.
Yeah, nothing like finding out at the last minute. That was wild. But
that was great. Well. Yeah. I remember after that Push in the Pool video, when I was driving home, I got a call from Wardrobe on the movie, and they were just kind of talking through like sizes, and she asked me, she was like, have you thought through like what you think you would wear as this character? And I straight up said, I said, ma'am, I found out I booked this about 20 minutes ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, really? That's crazy. Congrats.
Yeah. We've known about it for 20 days.
I know, literally. Like, everyone knew but me.
That's so funny.
No, but it was a really sweet moment.
That is a great moment. I have another story to tell you about something completely unrelated.
Oh, cool. Segue.
Have you ever heard of Buc-ee's? The convenience store gas station
No.
type of a facility. I'm not totally surprised. There's like 50 something locations, about maybe a few less than that. And it's been around since 1982. I had to check it out because I had my first experience ever at a Buc-ee's, and they're mainly in Texas, but they're in Georgia and Alabama and a lot of other states as well. But we were driving down, and it was myself, it was Grandma and Grandpa. We were going to Uncle Philip's mother's memorial, her celebration of life ceremony. And on the way to Perry, Georgia, we stopped to charge the Tesla, and the charger was in a Buc-ee's. Well, like a normal like gas station complex, you drive in, there's the convenience store, and there's the, here's where you get your gas, and maybe there's some charging, and then there's parking. But like imagine everything at least 5 times the normal size. Like everything is gigantic, like tons of parking and tons of gasoline aisles and tanks and hoses and pumps for cars, for trucks.
I thought you meant like size, like cars. They were like giant size.
No, just maybe
excessive.
Just the footprint.
Yeah,
and then the store is like the size of like a Walmart. Or not, maybe not quite that big, but it is enormous, like a Walmart, because you go in and there's like all the normal convenience store stuff, but then there's all these different food stations where you can get like, pulled pork and salad bar and taco bar and, and it just, there's a whole section of jerky, like beef jerky, but not just like one kind. They have like 25 different kinds of deli style beef jerky. They have clothing and food and
Did they have a petting zoo?
They had a mascot, Buc-ee the Beaver.
Patch?
Was walking around in this beaver costume, taking pictures with people.
Oh my gosh.
You just walk in and it's like this full-on assault on your senses of like, I don't have no idea where to go or what to do.
Wow.
Oh, and they have a cup. They advertise the world's cleanest restrooms, which is not an official statistic, but they do have 2 world records. One is the world's largest convenience store, which is, I forget how many thousand square feet. I could look it up in just a second. But
that's okay.
The other one is the world's longest car wash. Yeah, it's 66,335 square feet. And the world's longest car wash, which is 255 feet long.
Oh my God.
Like the size of a football field. Anyway, we didn't buy anything, but it was quite the experience. And
but did you go to the bathroom?
I did. I shot some video. We can put that in the
picture?
version of this that's on YouTube, and so we can cut in some of that Buc-ee's
But was
video.
the bathroom the cleanest bathroom?
They were beautiful bathrooms.
Wow.
They were really nice. No attendance, but
Amazing.
yeah, I think they had enough to do. They had a lot of people working there, and signs for people. They like were always needing new employees. They actually advertise all their benefits and their like vacation packages and their health benefits.
I've seen those before. I see the mascot there now. Oh yeah,
Buc-ee
I've
with the
driven
little
by
red
them, but I
hat.
guess I've never been into one.
Yeah, they're wild.
I can't wait to see one.
So this is not a paid endorsement. Buc-ee's is not a sponsor of this episode. I just thought I would share that cultural experience with you. We have another cultural experience we'll share a little later. So what else is new on your list? What other experiences have you had?
I'm curious.
You're just going to set up another cultural experience that you'll share later and not going to share it?
Yeah, but you tell me a story first, or you tell me something good, and then I'll share it. Little suspense never hurt anybody.
I have something you will be excited about. I think I'm going to get back into vlogging.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Really? I was just thinking about that the other day.
But here's the thing. I'm going to do it like for me and for my friends and I feel like that's what's most entertaining for other people.
True.
My friend Ty, he posted something on Instagram today of just a clip of me and him and Josh and Blythe in my car from a vlog we had done last October. Mm-hmm. And it was just so fun. And like those things are so fun to go back and watch and just remember. And it's literally a virtual scrapbook for me and my friends. And so I do think I don't really want to put parameters on it a ton, but just vlogging my friends for my friends is fun things. And I kind of have to take advantage of these times when I do get excited about it, because burnout can come so quick. And then like the second it feels like something I'm forcing is kind of the second you lose a little bit of the heart of it. But right now I'm so excited for it. And I want to be editing it, which is like editing usually is kind of taxing and like tiring. But I don't know. I'm in a vlogging mood. And so I think a lot of it is
fresh.
Yeah, a lot of it is this is something I was doing this time last year. This time last year, Josh texted me the other day and he said, happy friendiversary, because it was our friendiversary the other day. And
Aww.
October's a big friendiversary month for me out here, because this is the month when I made a lot of my friends who are still my friends today. And so I'm just a little in my feels. I'm just really grateful for
That's awesome.
all of it. And we want to like go back to a pumpkin patch and just kind of do things we did last year, because so many of us were new to LA last year. That's one of the reasons we became such friends, because we just showed up and we're like, what are we doing? I don't know. Let's hang out every day, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, every day.
I support that
That's
notion
very cool.
of doing a vlog again. I think you've learned some new skills and you've some discipline and time management that'll help you do it within those parameters and kind of protect your health. It's just a different mindset, right? Because it takes so much longer to think it through and put it together and edit. But no, that'll be great. I'd love to see that. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So stay tuned and subscribe to Maggie Thurman on YouTube.
And we can do some at-home vlogs too. I do like those as well. There's a vlog of the three of us in a kitchen. And it was right after I'd got home. Yeah, straight from the airport. It was late, but I was up because it was time zone change. But Dad, you were fading fast and we were just being weird. And it was just really funny because that's just like life, but it's funny when I put it on video because it is how we interact.
Oh, totally.
I'm glad we can crack you up, Maggie. That's what I live for. So the cultural experience I was speaking of is the Alliance Theater. And why don't you tell us, honey, about how you found out about this show and kind of what we went to?
Yeah, so we've been subscribers sometimes to the Alliance, and I got an email about this play called Everybody, and it's based on presumably the first play ever written called Every Man. And so
the first play ever written? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what they said. They said,
well, they were basically saying
it could have been right.
And the premise of that can date back to even like
before that.
Buddhist scrolls
the
and like
premise
everybody.
being it's a play about life and death, And so the different characters in the play are death and God and friends and, a lot of different things like that. And so it was really cool.
Yeah. So the idea is it's a morality play. So it's basically the whole answer of the question is like, what is life and death about, and what are the things you live for? What is that? What really matters is the bigger arching question of the play. And you would think like, oh my gosh, this is really heavy, but it was done in such a way, it was reimagined in such a way that was really funny and great, and so well presented by the Alliance Theater Company. So instead of every man, now it's everybody. It's actually a just more inclusive way of saying this is a play about everybody, because everybody's going to die, everybody's going to do this thing, and all the characters come from the audience. Like they kind of like inject themselves. In
the
fact,
actors
the actors are in the audience. In fact, some of the actors were on. So we had seats on stage.
Yeah,
there were
some
seats
of the
in the
audience on the
audience,
stage.
and then there was like 2 rows at the back of the stage. We were in the front row on stage where the play was actually happening, and then there was like an upper row on stage. So these characters get pulled in, and this whole premise gets set. The death is basically coming for all of you, and you are all. It's time you come with me. And they're like, please, can we just have a minute? Like, give us a minute.
I just found out about this.
Yeah, we just found out about this. I wasn't ready. And I want to see if I can get somebody to come with me.
Yeah, can I bring somebody?
Can I bring somebody with me? And he's like, yeah, you
sure,
want to
good
what?
luck.
So that's the play. And then at that point, it gets so interesting. And as an actor, I want you to imagine this. So the usher, who also plays God, who also plays understanding and this kind of like central role in the thing, pulls out and she says, okay, I forgot to tell you all about this part of that, because at this point in the play, the actors are going to find out what part they're playing next. And so all of those characters pull out a ball, and based on the color of the ball, they will take on like
a different role
in the play. And one of them is going to be like the central character playing everybody, which is a huge part.
Role.
I mean, like tons of stuff. And so every single person in the play has to be prepared to play every other part and to step in on a moment's notice and immediately take over.
That's insane. And you're like 100% sure they don't like decide it beforehand?
Yep. Yeah, that's part of the coolness of this play and what makes it so unique.
In fact, up front, they had like the whole like a scorecard with pictures of what all the combinations were on the previous nights. It was great. It was so entertaining. I loved it.
I would so see that. That's wild.
Yeah. There was one woman who was on the stage with us, and this was her 3rd time seeing it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, do you have an impromptu pass? Because impromptu allows you to see a play at the Alliance as many times as you want. You just can't book a seat for more than a week out. So you might not get a seat at all if it's sold out every time, or you might not get where you want to sit. And she's like, oh no, I just buy a ticket every time. I was like, wow. So
supporting live theater. Man,
I would
so much
see it again
memorize.
if we had the impromptu. But actually it's done. It was we saw it the day before it closed. But I'm so glad that I did. I was very interested in seeing how they presented, because play that I wrote, I considered the same thing in terms of having audience members on the stage. And so I was very interested. That's what drew me to it, was that I wanted to see.
We didn't have to do anything, thankfully.
No, thankfully.
They didn't, they involved us, but they didn't require us to do anything that was critical.
Yeah.
Did you like make eye contact with other audience members a lot?
Not really. I mean, I'd look at the other audience members, but
they wouldn't look at me.
They were looking at the actors. It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was the hard part, the weird part for me is, as somebody who's on stage a lot in looking at audiences, that like triggered in me this sense of like wanting to make eye contact and connect with people and like make sure they were engaged. And it was just like, it was a triggering mechanism for that aspect of me that's had a lot of experience on stages. Mm-hmm. So that was odd, but fun. It was fun to be on a stage and not have to do anything, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Man.
So speaking of doing something, do you have any ideas for what you want to do while I'm in LA?
Pickleball.
Yeah, I'll bring a pair.
That is true.
Okay. I'll bring some shoes.
This is kind of so wholesome, guys. Basically, my friends and I, we've always agreed that Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays are great nights for pickleball because it's the weekend and people usually have better things to do than go play pickleball. But that means less people are there, you can play more. And recently on Friday nights, they started doing this little potluck where everyone brings in some like homemade cookies or picks up some pizza or something for everyone to share.
Nice.
And so if you're here on a Friday, we can go to Pickleball Potluck, play some pickle. You can meet some friends.
That's awesome. I'm so jealous.
It's so sweet. It's like, guys, I've never had a community like this in my life. It's so interesting because we range such different ages. Like we're for the most part the youngest group there, right? And then there's some friends who are around our age, early 20s and such. And then it spans further, to
What do you think the oldest people are in their 30s or older?
Oh, no, like 60s.
Oh, good.
For sure. Yeah.
Nice.
And so like I have a friend there. I got a friend's number the other day and they're like 50, 60 something. And I'm just like, yeah, I have your phone number so I can text you for when you want to go play pickleball. That's interesting.
That's cool.
Well,
That's great.
That is great. I hope I am there on that night. And if not, maybe we can still make something happen that's like that.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
the funny timing of that, what you just mentioned is I just found out today that our dog park community of friends and dogs that Mom actually met. And so she's part of the group. We're having a potluck on Saturday as well. So we're taking our relationship and friendship to the next level. Our community is actually bringing food.
When I met them, Steve was saying like, we talked about maybe like bringing like a grill or something and cooking up some food. And I said, like a potluck. And then today, your dad gets an invitation saying, we're doing a potluck Saturday. So that's where we'll be Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And we are so blessed with great people in our lives and great people in our audiences.
And pets.
And I wanted to, before we drift too far down that road, really just put our thoughtful outreach out there for the folks who I know are still suffering from, hurricane damage and are displaced because of, whatever instances that are going on in your life that are kind of throwing you sideways. And I know some people personally who were very much disrupted by the hurricane specifically, but really all over the world. There's just so much going on that we're not necessarily going to get into, but I want you to know that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and whatever you're going through now, please don't let our examples make you feel any less than. I want you to feel like you can reach into your heart and your community of the people who are around you and help them and help each other to grow and get through life and move on down the road to find what really matters in your life journey, because that's what it's all about. And that's really what that play was all about for me too. It's like, and maybe it's because I'm getting a little older, but I just think a lot more. I think about the brief time that you're on the planet and this arc of your lifetime and the difference that you can make for people. And so anyway, so realize whoever you are right now, you have that opportunity to really help people in your life that you love and care about, and even those you don't even yet know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, actually, from something where in my head I was like, how do I say this? I was praying, and I was like, for so long I've prayed, okay, when I'm in this situation, then I can like help this group of people or whatever. And I was really hit with just the whole notion of whatever situation I'm in right now, I can be helping the people around me. Just because I put parameters on it doesn't mean those parameters are legitimate. They're actually inhibiting me from doing more around myself right now because I'm saying, okay, I can do this when I'm in this situation. When actually I can do it wherever I'm at, in that situation where I am currently. I don't know if that made sense because that sounded pretty vague, but I wasn't
think
really
I get it. I think I get it. And it starts by putting yourself in situations and just being present and saying, there's this, you're going through life with an intention about getting from here to there, right? Or getting something out of a situation that serves you, perhaps, because that's why you're there. But along that way, what I'm hearing you're saying is, don't forget that there's something else.
There's something you can do.
Yeah, and something else you can experience and enjoy about your journey that you could never have imagined going into it. It's like, it always is going to be different.
And going back to your vlog, Maggie, or your vlog was go make someone smile. Like,
I love that.
An easy thing to do that makes such an impact on people, especially if you think
about yourself. It helps you too.
Or like somebody who maybe is in LA or somewhere and they don't know anybody at all, and to have somebody make eye contact and smile or say, have a nice day. It's like you have no idea how something so small can be so impactful. We never know. So don't keep it to yourself. Smile.
Yeah.
Good words, honey.
Thanks.
You make me smile.
You make me laugh.
Sometimes I make you mad though.
Sometimes you make me mad, and then
I think I made you laugh and made you mad today. Oh my
gosh, you made me so mad today. And then it was just so absurd. I was like, okay, if you're done. I just started laughing. And I mean, it was like a sincere laugh. It was just like, this is so silly. Okay, can we like go get warmed up to unload 6,000 books? Let's do it. But anyway.
How do we deal with conflict? Like, I think we just do it. Like we get it out of our system sometimes.
Yeah.
And then just move on. Like we don't feel like we have to resolve it because we just feel like there was a release valve and neither one of us meant anything by whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
sometimes you just want to vent. You want to say what you got to say.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's all you can do.
And a lot of times I'll just be honest, is like when you say something to me in the moment that you're being critical or expressing something, my tendency is to get defensive.
Oh, same. Of course. That's human nature.
It's human nature. And yet when you sit with it, you see the truth and validity. You see the other side.
Exactly.
And so it's like, it doesn't have to be either or. I think what comes out in conflict or those extreme moments is like almost like an exaggeration of one side of the argument, which has merit. And it's not about like diminishing that argument, destroying that argument to make another argument. It's about like sometimes you do the little bit of that to kind of present both sides, but hearing it all is really the way we get to some kind of connection. And that's hard enough in a marriage. It's really hard on a planetary scale for sure.
Yeah, so next week we are going to have a couples counselor on the podcast.
Yes.
And we're going to work through all these issues in front of all of you.
Oh, I thought we were going to advise them.
Oh, no. Spotlight is on you two.
We're good.
Yeah, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Just about the time that she's sick of me, I generally leave town to go do a speech, so it all works out.
Yep, he's leaving tomorrow.
Man. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this time speaking with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, and we've enjoyed the opportunity to chat with you in the audience. If you'd like to ask us a question, please go out to wholesomechaos.com and you could ask that question there or answer it. We could ask them and you can answer them. We can just mix it up that way if you want to.
You guys are totally off on that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what
you can check out our sponsor links in the notes here and on the website as well. And go ahead and hit subscribe and mention to a friend the podcast if you feel like it will help their life and that they might enjoy it as well.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
I love you too, sweetheart. Take care. And we love you, everyone. Take care. Have a great week.
Bye.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
got a DM the other day, and it said it was a compliment about the podcast, just someone saying they love tuning in, and they told me, they said, like, I love it when you go whoop whoop, because usually in the beginning of the podcast, if I'm not the one who says, let's roll that intro music, I've realized from listening that I go whoop whoop.
Nice.
And apparently someone else noticed that and they enjoyed it. So I'm sorry I haven't been doing it since, because I got a little self-conscious. But maybe next week.